Anger turns to fear after the death of a Terrell Middle School student. Tonight, more parents are pointing the finger at bullying. How does a house burn to the ground with multiple fire stations nearby? It's a question a family that lost everything can't understand. And an infection so rare it kills 1 in a million. Tonight, the family who knows that pain and how they are trying to save other lives.
Live from Victory Park, this is News 8 at 10.
We start tonight with breaking news out of Irving. Huge flames could be seen for miles as crews work to put out a 3-alarm apartment fire. We just got these pictures in from a viewer. Take a look. We are hearing stories about rescues as people try to help others trapped in the fire. Our Steve Stoller is live near 161 and MacArthur. Steve, what can you tell us about the fire?
Gloria, it's a very chaotic scene here at the arbors of Las Colinas Apartments, where a 3-alarm fire broke out at about 6:30 this evening. Now, when the fire started, a call came into the Irving Fire Department that there were 6 to 10 people trapped on the 3rd floor of a building that was fully engulfed in flames. Witnesses told us that some of those people who were trapped jumped to safety.
My neighbor right across from me, I just saw him. He broke his ankle and his wrist catching a lady that fell off the 3rd floor. He and another guy braced her fall. And so he's on his way to the hospital right now.
One person was taken to Parkland Memorial Hospital with burns. There were several other people that were over here by us just a few minutes ago that were going to be checked out by paramedics who were complaining of minor injuries, including smoke inhalation and minor burns. Now, the flames from this fire could be seen very high in the area from a far distance away. In fact, our cameras at DFW Airport, our tower cams, captured some of those flames. Now, several units were destroyed. All those units were in the same building. That's the situation here in Irving. Reporting live, Steve Stoller, Channel 8 News.
We have an update on that security scare at DFW International that was breaking news at 6. American Airlines Flight 2137 to Guatemala had to return to the gate tonight due to an unruly passenger. DFW says the man made a threat involving his bag. Passengers got off, and federal authorities detained the 23-year-old Guatemalan. Investigators did not find anything suspicious, and the flight was able to resume.
We want justice! We want justice!
There is growing anger tonight in Terrell over the mystery of a teenager's death. Hundreds protested and chanted, "We want justice," outside Herman Furlow Middle School this afternoon. Their cries for justice are centered around 13-year-old Suzette Moreno. She died Friday, 3 days after her family says she was attacked at school. And now we're hearing tonight about surveillance video and what that may have or may not be on it. Channel 8's Jason Wheeler is in Terrell tonight. And Jason, multiple parents at the school are saying they're concerned about bullying. Is that true?
Yeah, Gloria, a lot of people out here contend that bullying is out of control on this campus and that this young girl's death is evidence of that. But tonight, school officials say they have evidence to the contrary.
Terrell police were called in Monday afternoon to help keep the peace.
I'm worried about my friends, I'm worried about me.
Okay. As hundreds of incensed parents and students outside Furlow Middle School protested what they say is a systemic problem of bullying on this campus.
It's getting to the point you don't feel safe to send your kids to school.
The impassioned rally is in response to the death of 7th grader Suzette Moreno, whose family contends was roughed up by a group of girls in a school restroom last Tuesday. Suzette mysteriously fell ill and lost consciousness later that same night and was taken to the hospital. Friday, she died on what would have been her 13th birthday.
Father, we're asking for your will to be done.
As her mother knelt in a group prayer outside the school today, the family indicated that doctors have told them Suzette did have swelling on her brain. But the district says preliminary autopsy information and surveillance cameras inside the school discount the theory that Suzette might have been fatally injured in a fight on campus.
There is no reason to believe trauma or assault. We have had no reports filed. Obviously, we are taking all allegations, rumors very seriously.
Among those allegations, one from this student who says Suzette was frequently harassed and that she personally witnessed a known group of troublemakers roughing up Suzette in the restroom just a few weeks ago.
They kept pushing her around against the floor, kicking her around. I tried stopping once, but they said if I told anybody, I would be next.
And she took that threat seriously because others complain about the same treatment from the same band of kids.
My daughter was one. She's, one of the kids that has been bullied by these people.
Seems like we heard that over and again out here earlier today. The school says they do have anti-bullying programs in place out here, but that's doing little to allay the fears of parents and students this evening. Now, parents say they're going to keep on demanding answers and changes in the coming days. Meantime, we're not expecting those full autopsy results back for another couple of weeks. We're live in Terrell tonight. Jason Wheeler, Channel 8 News.
We have an update on a traffic mess in Fort Worth. Loop 820 is back open tonight after a deadly crash near Highway 287. An SUV blew out a tire, sending it off the road. One person died in that accident. Traffic was backed up during the evening rush hour. A new development tonight over the decision to shave the Fort Hood shooting rampage suspect. A military appeals court has removed the judge who ordered Nidal Hassan to lose his beard. The court ruled Colonel Gregors Gross didn't appear impartial and said the judge isn't responsible for enforcing grooming standards. Hassan faces the death penalty if convicted in the 2009 shootings that left 13 people dead. City of Fort Worth could spend big bucks fighting a lawsuit over pension cuts. Officers walked out of a meeting in October after city leaders cut pension contributions for new officers, and that led to a lawsuit 2 weeks ago. City Council will vote tomorrow on spending up to $200,000 to hire a law firm to fight that suit. An atheist who threatened to sue over a small town's nativity display has done just that. Patrick Green filed a lawsuit today in Bexar County. The suit claims the Athens nativity scene outside the Henderson County Courthouse violates the Texas Constitution. Green donated a star to the holiday display after people in Athens helped pay his medical bills, but he wanted a sign put up saying the star came from an atheist, and he said if they didn't do that, he would sue. Well, Fort Worth is making changes impacting its food trucks now. City leaders will look at requiring permanent bathrooms and on-site managers for food parks. A News 8 investigation found little uniformity in how and where food trucks are cleaned. Fort Worth is about to open its third food truck park on the banks of the Trinity near I-30 and University. Developer Kendall Carew told us his manager will check logs daily to make sure vendors follow regulations.
The ordinance will help, I think, more so for the general public to make sure that they're getting a clean, good product.
Fort Worth City officials say most regulations in the new ordinance were already on the books in some fashion. Former President George W. Bush spent the weekend with his father in Houston, who is still hospitalized this evening. Tomorrow, Bush 43 plans to speak in Dallas. Mr. Bush will open a conference on immigration and economics at the Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas. Two expert panels will discuss and debate how immigration benefits the economy. Well, the flu season is expected to start earlier than it has in decades. Health officials warned today that this could be a bad season. The good news, an estimated 112 million Americans have been vaccinated. Office buildings could soon fill the empty space left by the Reunion Arena that was torn down. City of Dallas currently owns the land, but is considering a land swap with a company that owns the nearby Hyatt Dallas Hotel. Woodbine would trade 7 acres that it owns next to the convention center and paid $3.5 million. City Council reviews the deal on Wednesday. New details tonight about the plans for a PGA quality golf course in southern Dallas. City of Dallas will provide a maximum of $12 million to be used to get construction started, but construction on the Trinity Forest Golf Course won't begin until $20 million is raised in private funds and the Byron Nelson tournament is secured. Development is set to begin in the spring of 2013 with the course opening in the spring of 2016. Invisible lines on a map have a North Texas family wondering why their house burned to the ground. This is all that's left of the family's home in Denton County after flames took everything they had worked for. They made it out with the clothes on their back, and tonight as they start over, they're concerned firefighters from the firehouse closest to their place didn't show up. The family lives in Hazlet, just outside the Fort Worth city limits. There's a fire station about 6 miles away, but those firefighters couldn't help. Volunteers from Justin, about 10 miles away, took the call. Channel 8's Monica Diaz is live tonight to explain why firefighters from a firehouse farther away We're dispatched. Monica?
Gloria, it all comes down to jurisdiction. The Justin Fire Department covers this area. The family had no other choice but to wait for them, and they hope their loss sparks change.
Sifting through the ashes, trying to find anything untouched by the flames. But Angela Howard is grateful she and her family survived the fire that destroyed their home on Warbler Lane in Denton County last weekend.
My brother got the kids out, got my mom out, and I double checked to make sure. I looked on the porch and I counted everybody, and I walked out. Well, there was already people up here at our porch, and I was screaming, "Help us, please."
Justin Fire, a volunteer department, responded to her calls for help. The problem? It's nearly 11 miles away, a station that needed to call personnel in to respond. Crews arrived in 13 minutes.
We have to wait for Justin, and it's unfortunate because I think that we may have been able to salvage something, but we lost 2 vehicles and our entire home.
Their frustration lies in the fact that a fire station stands closer to home, 6 miles away. But it's in Fort Worth. Fort Worth Fire told us it got a call related to the incident. The agency dispatched a unit, but found out the call was out of their jurisdiction. Dispatch told the agency that crews from other fire departments were on the way. Howard struggles to understand these policies and procedures.
Why can't we get someone in here to help save lives? Do whatever that they can do.
Fort Worth Fire and the Justin Volunteer Fire Department do not have a mutual aid agreement. Families here hope city leaders from all sides step in.
I don't know that there's a lot that we could do other than trying to voice our opinions, which, you know, if enough voices pulled together, could definitely get something done, I think.
And Fort Worth Fire told us tonight that their policy is, when in doubt, send a crew out. The Howard family and their neighbors want an agreement that could provide better coverage for all. We're live in the Fort Worth Bureau tonight. Monica Diaz, Channel 8 News.
Coming up, a family's fight. The parents pushing to save your child's life after losing their 7-year-old, and it all started with a swim. Also, forget running in the rain. This year's Dallas Marathon will leave you drenched from sweat. And it's the picture that had everyone talking. A New York cop buying shoes for a homeless man. So why is the man back on the street without those shoes? Pete?
Gloria, I'm going to have a marathon forecast. Wait until you see that. And a big weather pattern change. It's something I think you've all been asking for. It's on its way. I'll tell you what it means. The 7-day outlook coming up.
Live from Victory Park, this is News 8 Now.
Holidays can be a magical time for children, but they're often a heartbreaking struggle for parents who have lost a child. Medical reporter Janet St. James has a story of how one family is making it through by saving other lives.
Blonde and beautiful, Kyle Lewis was the all-American 7-year-old who loved baseball and family time.
Had his number 5 on it. He loved being a Ranger, that's for sure.
Just days after summer vacation 2 years ago, the Arlington 2nd grader developed what seemed like flu-like symptoms. Tests later blamed an amoeba called Naegleria fowleri for attacking Kyle's brain and killing him.
It was horrible. That poor kid suffered through things that are unimaginable.
No parent should have to see what we witnessed and how their child passes.
His story is being featured this month on Animal Planet's Monsters Inside Me series. Deaths from this amoeba are 1 in a million, but the organism flourishes in warm freshwater lakes and ponds, which makes the potential for infection not rare enough for Kyle's parents.
But I don't want anyone else to go through this pain when it's preventable. I wish with every breath I take that I had known about it and that I could have protected my son.
That's why the Lewis family has established Kyle Cares, a foundation to raise awareness. They're now calling for the state health department to launch an awareness campaign against the parasite that is always deadly and 100% preventable.
These are nose plugs. 4,000 nose plugs.
They themselves are giving away nose plugs, encouraging people who swim in lakes, ponds, and rivers to plug it. The $1 device could have prevented the amoeba from swimming up Kyle's nose.
Every day without our Kyle's heart.
Nothing can bring their son back. But the Lewises hope no other family will lose their All-American boy or girl to this little monster. Janet St. James, Channel 8 News.
And you can find more information on the Kyle Cares Foundation on our website. We've got the links at WFAA.com. Now, we're still following that apartment fire in Irving at the Arbors of Las Colinas. We now know flames raced through 22 apartments, impacting some 56 people. 2 people have been taken to the hospital, others treated at the scene. Firefighters are still trying to put out this massive blaze. If you are one of the thousands running in the Dallas Metro PCS Marathon this year, you won't be needing any cold weather gear. It's going to be a hot one. That's in contrast to the cold, rainy weather of last year. In preparation, marathon officials say additional medical personnel will be working on foot bikes and ATVs. And there are a few changes to the course this year. One of them, the new 3-mile loop in West Dallas. It'll take you across the Margaret Hunt Hill Bridge, and you'll be finishing in front of the Omni Hotel. Marathon officials say there'll be more volunteers this year. 4,000 volunteers will be on hand to help you out. But right now, we're just still sweating in December, which I don't know. Some people think it's bad, but actually, we're going to be cold.
Well, I mean, you know, 80 degrees today, that's not bad. I mean, 105 degrees would be bad. We didn't have that, but we were in the record territory over the weekend. I want you to check out some of these numbers. Saturday, we tied a record high when we hit 83 degrees. Sunday, we set a new record high of 83 degrees. The old one was 81 in 2007, and today we were 20 degrees above normal. The normal high temperature, 60, not a record today. 80 was the temperature, the record 89 from back in 2005. But changes, a little change is on the horizon right now. Some clouds are moving in our direction, and so is that cold front. That cold front will pass by DFW about 7 o'clock or so in the morning. A little bit earlier, of course, to the northwest, a little bit later off to the southeast. But temperatures right now are in the 60s and 70s in advance of the front. Behind it, it's dropping into the lower 60s in the next hour or so, probably into the 50s, so it'll cool down pretty nicely there. Tomorrow, temperatures will be 5, 10, maybe even 15 degrees cooler than what we had today. Dallas high tomorrow, 73, Fort Worth 71, Denton 71, Corsicana you'll hit 75, and the high tomorrow in Graham, Mineral Wells, and Bridgeport 71. Overnight, there's a low probability of rain, a very low chance of a shower, maybe a rumble of thunder. The same low chance of light rain stays in the forecast during the day tomorrow. The farther east you are, the higher your rain chance will be, and even there in East Texas, it's not very great. But the weather pattern that we've had for the past couple of weeks, this week and the last 2 weeks, we've had a big area of low pressure that's been situated just to the northwest of Seattle. That low it hasn't moved. It's just been sitting in place. It's kept all that cold air bottled up well to the north of us. What that has done for us is it's allowed all the warm air to stay in place across the southern plains. That pattern is going to change because that area of low pressure over the next 5 days will drop to the south, and by next week, as that low moves in our direction, the cold air will spill in from the north, and that means temperatures will cool down. We could have highs next week, Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday. High temperatures, are you ready? In the 40s. That's a possibility. More on that as the days ahead move along. 55 tonight, maybe a little bit of isolated rain, partly cloudy skies to mostly cloudy tonight. A little bit of cloud cover in the morning and maybe an isolated shower or rumble of thunder, mainly to the east. Tomorrow's high 71, so that's 9 degrees cooler than the 80-degree temperature we had today. We will become partly, then eventually mostly sunny. A breezy day tomorrow, north winds 5 to 15. 68 on Wednesday, then back up to 74 on Thursday. Friday 75. Saturday's high temperature is 77. On Sunday we'll hit 78, and then Monday 66, and even cooler on Tuesday and Wednesday with another low chance of light rain during the day on Monday. So we'll watch for that weather pattern change next week. No weather pattern change for all of you marathoners this weekend. Race starts at 8 a.m. Sunday, 61. By 9, the temperature climbs to 63. At 10 in the morning, 65. And by 11 a.m., 69 degrees. It will be a very warm marathon in Dallas. Santa's Helpers starts this Friday night. Uptown Village at Cedar Hill. For all the Santa's Helpers information, WFAA.com/. Santa's helpers. So I hear you worked up a little bet on the Cowboys. Is that true?
Well, it was started by a friend of mine. He said he thinks they're going to win out and make the playoffs, and I told him that if they do, we would shave Pete's head.
Oh, Pete's head, not yours.
Well, I mean,
thank you very much.
Why bother shaving mine? I mean, who would know this? You know, and I figure yours will grow back anyway.
That's true. In a week or so.
If the Cowboys win out, I've agreed to shave Pete's head. I think it's only fair. It seemed like a good bet to me. We'll talk about the Cowboys and then, of course, the winter meetings in Nashville. The Rangers have lost a player, and we'll talk about all of it next. Cowboys getting a little playoff help from Washington tonight. They're playing the Giants and winning. If they do get the win, the Giants would be 7-5, only a game ahead of the Cowboys, who would be tied with Washington at 6-6. Washington leads 17-16 in the fourth. I still think you're dreaming if you think this Cowboys team is a playoff team, but I have been wrong before. It was 1976, I believe, but I could be again. Cowboys play their usual game against Philadelphia yesterday, down 11 early, get their first lead with about 5 minutes to go, and then hang on to win by 5. Des Bryant is playing like the first-round pick they thought he was. That's a good thing. And if they can somehow win 4 of the 5 games in December, they probably would be a playoff team. Parade plans yet to be made.
You know, we had a thing where we had to give our individual goals and our team goals and stuff like that, and you know, they were all the same. It's just about bringing that championship to Dallas, and I want that for so many people, and I think that's why we commit to what we do, and you just do all the little things and the extra work and the grind, and hopefully that we'll be able to obtain that.
Baseball's winter meetings in Nashville this week, and the Rangers are close to a deal with Kansas City closer Joakim Soria. Didn't pitch last year because of arm surgery, but he's good when he's healthy. They signed catcher Giovanni Soto to a 1-year deal and lose Mike Napoli to Boston. And it's just day one. Here's George Rebo.
It is by far the biggest news of the winter meetings, and it happened early in the day as catcher Mike Napoli agreed to leave the Texas Rangers and join the Boston Red Sox. Rangers general manager John Daniels was reluctant to talk about another team signing.
We would have loved to have Nap back. End of the day, he had a pretty robust market out there. He's a heck of a player. He was a huge cog on, in my opinion, the best team or kind of group of teams in really the history of the franchise. And so if that is indeed the case, we certainly wish him the best. Nothing negative to say about Mike.
The Red Sox have not made Napoli's deal official, but it's said to be worth $39 million for 3 years. Texas did not give Napoli a qualifying offer, which means the Rangers will receive no compensation for his loss.
Thought it was a lot of money, and granted, we always think that with free agents, but the Rangers didn't want to pay $13 million a year for Mike Napoli. They didn't make him a qualifying offer for 1 year at $13 million. So why would they do it for 3?
I think you look at, where exactly is the fit. I don't feel that Texas felt he was going to be a 120, 140 game catcher.
Well, I assume that Boston knows their club real well, and Mike knows this situation really well. So you got 2 people that know each other really well, and they figure they should work together. Should be a really good place for him.
Napoli's been a big part of this ball club the last couple of years. Big power bat, so now they've obviously got to replace him, and with not knowing what's going to happen with Josh, I think it leaves a hole.
The Rangers did make Giovanni Soto's contract official tonight. It's a 1-year deal, but Daniels says they are still on the hunt for more help behind the plate. George Reba, Channel 8 Sports in Nashville.
Here's what I think we do. We change the bet. If the Cowboys win another game in December, we shave Delcus's head.
Yeah. Okay. Well, lucky for him, he's got plenty of hair to spare.
Yes, he does.
I think I'm safe.
I'm not. I think you might be too, quite honestly.
All right. Well, coming up, this picture was spread around the world. Remember why this homeless man says he can't wear the boots the officer gave him. Prince William and his wife Kate remain at a London hospital this evening. St. James Palace announced her pregnancy today. The Duchess of Cambridge apparently has a severe form of pregnancy sickness. Couple's child will be 3rd in line to the throne. The palace would not say how far along the Duchess is, but did say she has not reached the 12-week mark. Well, the homeless man given a pair of shoes by a New York police officer is back walking the streets barefoot. This picture captured the hearts of people all over the world. A New York City police officer spotted 54-year-old Jeffrey Hillman sitting in front of a shoe store barefoot with blistered feet. The officer bought him boots. Today, Hillman told the New York Times that the shoes are now hidden. He said they're worth a lot of money and that he could lose his life over them. So even though he still thanks the officer from the bottom of his heart. Wow. Picture seen around the world. And that's it for News 8 tonight at 10. For more news, weather, and traffic anytime, we're always on at WFAA.com. Good night, and we'll see you tomorrow.